Soughton.
Hello everybody, how's everyone doing? The day's finally here, eh? What was the theme now? Hi Jordan. I'm Matthew, Jordan's cousin. Some people say I'm his brother, the better looking one. And that's as far as I got a Jordan speech at my wedding.
Good evening. I'm Jamie for everybody who doesn't know me, and for people who do know me, who know me as Jamie, or as Jordan politely pointed out before, Jamie Bonan. I've known Jordan since I was about 8 or 9. That wasn't my first nickname that he kindly gave me, by the way. My last name's Hardy, so it started off with Jamie Hard-On, and then it went to Jamie Stiffwich, and then he finally put 2 brain cells together and called me Jamie Bonan. And it actually stuck, to be fair.
Still now.
To the point where Minnie, Leo, and even Lewis call me Jamie Bonan. So thank you very much for that. It's not the nickname that I wanted growing up, but I've got it. So thank you.
I'd just like to start the speech by thank everyone for coming. The bridesmaids, the ushers, what have I got there? Leo's speech for belting, and Molly's dad did a beautiful speech then. Page girls, anyone else? The bride and groom, obviously, that's Jamie.
Right, yeah, so I'd like to thank everyone for coming. For the 3rd time, we're finally here. People who travelled a great distance, shout out Daniel Minister's partner from coming all the way from Thailand. We've got Jordan's own brother Andrew's family from coming from Southampton. The staff for an amazing day and for accommodating us on such short notice. All my parents as well for making them and for actually making them who they are today. We wouldn't be here without them. And most of all for Molly and Jordan for allowing us to be a part of the special day and for the free food and drinks. And that's it. That's on to you.
Now we start about Jordan. So I've known Jordan pretty much all my life. He's basically been my little brother. I've got plenty of stories to tell. So we'll start off when we were kids. And Kenny used to have motorbikes and Jordan wasn't tall enough to get on them. So he asked me to hold it up. He'd get on it and drive up and down the back ends, me on my back with my rollerblades on. When he got a bit older, he could start driving. He'd get in Kenny's minibus, drive all the kids around back in, going for little trips out, about 8-year-old. The time we went to Turkey, and we weren't allowed to have a motorbike, so me and Jordan decided to just go and rent one anyway, pedal and pop. I hid behind the hotel, and then these was all out having a meal, Kenny, my mum and dad and everyone. We drove past the restaurant in a minute, got bollocked. But Kenny had to have a go, so it was alright.
Charlie said that man on the back.
So we went on a beach day, didn't we, once, and this some old fisherman turned up on a scooter. He's like, talking in Turkish. Jordan just muscles his way in up front of his bike and teared off down the street, this old man on the back, scared him to death. Come back going absolutely mad, Jordan, little cheeky shit he was. What was the other one? We've had many good nights out, including Leeds, Newcastle, Benidorm, Tom Dawson Stag Do.
Not too far.
Warrington, Scott Stag Do, that was a good one. But one of my probably favourite was Newquay with Timmy. When we ended up in a club one night, there was a sort of pole dancing. We started spinning Timmy round, obviously egged on by Jordan, the cheeky what he was. Ended up loads of deaf people getting on this pole and all got our best mates. Go on, Jamie.
Right, so I've known Jordan since I was about 8 or 9, and my first memories are going round to Jordan's in the back ends. And Kenny be in the kitchen, his towel, his big bollocks hanging out. Kenny's got some massive nuts on him, but sorry Kenny, it's time to get that in there. Jordan used to always tease me and like say, look at me dad, and I never looked. And one day I finally looked up the cruise and looked and, there was some big nuts on it. I don't forget that in there, I'm sorry. Jordan was the type of guy that always helped you out growing up. One day he locked himself out of his house, and we've been up till I've been to Green Arches, not to tomato soup. I loved tomato soup at the time. We got back to his house and his window was open, so I said I climbed up through your window with tomato soup. So I climbed up, come back down, got the key, opened it up, and I started drinking the tomato soup. And he's like, "Are you pissed?" And I'm like, "What are you on about?" And he's like, "You pissed?" I'm like, "I'm not. I didn't drink that before." So I carried on drinking it, and it had bits of twigs in his mouth, kissing my teeth, as you do. And finally found out a few days later that I'd pissed in it. So, thank you. But to be fair, I'm not the only person to suffer the fate of Jordan's piss. Joby, stand up. So, I used to go around his house, and he used to always shout me in the bathroom. So I'd make my way in and come in the bath, and he'd be sat in his boxers, and Jordan would be having a wee, been waiting for me to come in with his head turned round. So I'd come in, and as soon as he see me turn around, I'd start pissing all over Jordan. And honestly, he did it probably about 5 or 6 times, and he'd start screaming, shouting at his mum. And there was nothing he could do, but it was just funny, to be fair. So, as we grew up, Rob Pugh used to cut people's hair. And as gratitude for that, Jordan decided to chase him around his house with a 12-inch Rambo knife and ended up stabbing him in his ass cheek with it. And we're about to get some stitches. And also Sam, where's Sam? Who remembers the cargo shorts? We used to have some of the Cox Sportive cargo shorts. And we used to get some bangers or firecrackers, as you call them, and he lit it in front of his pocket. Say again? Yeah, your best shorts, I know, that's why it's so funny. And he put them in his shorts and blew his pocket off. And it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. Sam burst out in tears. Just me and Jordan on the floor rolling around, laughing our bollocks out the bottom of the field. So growing up, he was a good kid, I suppose. He borrowed a bike from school. Borrowed, wink wink, when he got kicked out for doing that, and he had to win like 1 or 2 days. But what Kenny doesn't know, on the days that he didn't go in, he actually come pick me up from school in one of your cars. I was like 15, 16, and he used to take me up late for me dinner in the car. And we used to go out to Walton Cruise at night times. Yeah, so that's it, and back to you.
So one of the most memorable ones about Jordan was his first ever festival and his last. It lasted all of 2 hours. Went to Leeds, I think we did 5 days or something, Jordan did 20 minutes. Had a bit too much to drink and walked from the tent. We didn't even get into the festival and his legs won't work. He fell on top of me. We had to literally carry him like with his toes dragging, arched over, back to the tent, locked him in the tent all night. Next morning, gets up, I'm a bit rough, mate. Come on, we'll go back in, Jordan, get on. Went into the festival for a bit. Jordan went for a wee, didn't come back, went home, with all my clothes in the car. And then that same day, the tent that we was in, Rod Pooh bought a bottle of vodka, put it in a 2-litre bottle. We were all drinking this vodka. It's a bit funny taste, this. Looked at the colour of it, it was piss. Jordan had pissed in Rod Pooh's vodka. We just carried on drinking that anyway. That was where his cat arsehole mouth come out fully fed. By the time I had got a courtesy car and we borrowed some radios off our Rob, pretending to be the police, was pulling random people over, flashing the lights, getting out. I'd stay in the car, Jordan would get out of the radio, PNC, you know. Can we do a PNC please? Charlie Echo 24, I'm in the car. Yeah, he's wanted. Aggravated, didn't pick him. We got 2 moshes on skateboards when we told them they'd been using armed robberies. So we confiscated them and started crying. We had to give them back. The time when we nipped into Timmy's post office, when Timmy used to work in the post office, and he had a misorder of balaclavas. So we bought some balaclavas and decided to put them on and run out the post office and get in the car and blow off. Everyone in Everton thought we'd robbed the post office. And I'm in the shop, Or we was pulling up to shops all in valleys of the car and going, excuse me, is there a cash machine in there? Tom Dawson's stag do was a good one when he was dressed as Big Boss Man, so he looked like a police officer and decided being on the doors, started IDing people, searching people's bags.
Now, I've not really got many embarrassing stories of Jordan because he's the type of person that dodges them situations. He's more of a wind-up merchant. So what he tends to do is wind people up and get out of there before the situation explodes and watch it unfold. So Molly, you must have a patience of a saint to deal with him for the rest of your life. Now, Molly, what you don't know is Jordan, when we were younger, he's always had a bit of a thing for you. Like from the early teens, like he always used to mention your name. But another person who's my age, John Crawford, God rest his soul, he used to always wind Jordan up. And yeah, so it was a bit of a difficult time because I never knew you myself, so I couldn't really comment on it because I never went to the same school. But yeah, we used to always wind him up, and one day he finally plucked up the courage when he was a little bit older to ask you out, and you went on a date, and here we are today. Now you've got two beautiful kids and a lovely house, and you're getting married. So congratulations.
So while we're on about Molly, I'd just like to say how beautiful she looks today, and Jordan should be proud to call her his wife. I'd like to welcome her into the family because that's what our family needs, more members. There's only 18 million of us, so a few more won't go amiss. So when Jordan first met Molly, all the family were delighted because Dawson's took a dip in the takings. It was buy one pie, get 7 free. But seriously, Molly's given Jordan 2 lovely kids, Quiet Leo and Mad Minnie. And she's took Lewis on as her own, so I'd like to thank her for that. A bit of word, my only words of advice for a good marriage is don't change, keep doing what you're doing a good job. And whatever you do, don't go to bed angry. And if you do, don't suffocate each other in your sleep. We do both really suit each other, you're a lovely couple. And Jordan wouldn't be able to cope without Molly, she pretty much is carer, wiping his arse and carrying him around. You are really made for each other. And that's about it from the speeches, so can we all be upstanding and raise your glasses to a beautiful couple, Mr. and Mrs. Golder.